A lot of people, they ask me after I've performed, they come up to me and they ask, hey, you didn't look nervous at all up there. Wow, how do you do it? Or do you still get nervous? Or do you still get stage fright when you're up on stage? And the answer is yes, I do.
From the outside, it looked like just another glitch on TikTok. An account vanished, a profile wiped. But when that profile belonged to Angelica Hale, the world took notice. A former America's Got Talent finalist with millions of fans suddenly found herself locked out of her own digital presence. The reason? According to TikTok, she was too young to use the platform, despite being a verified public figure and, at the time, well past the app's minimum age requirement. The shock didn't stop there. Fans were left confused, angry, and demanding answers. How does a 15-year-old pop sensation, who once stood ovation after ovation on national TV, get flagged as underage by one of the world's largest social media platforms? Was this a mistake, a policy loophole, or something more? And why did her repeated appeals go unanswered? As questions piled up, so did the mystery. What really happened behind that ban button? Before TikTok ever labeled her underage, Angelica Hale had already earned the world's attention. At just 9 years old, she stunned the America's Got Talent stage with powerhouse vocals far beyond her age, eventually finishing as runner-up in season 12, making her the youngest finalist in AGT history at the time. But her journey didn't end with the finale. Angelica became a symbol of resilience, having survived a life-threatening kidney condition years earlier. With a golden voice and an inspiring backstory, she quickly transitioned from TV fame to full-fledged digital stardom. Her YouTube channel gathered millions of views. Her Instagram bloomed with loyal fans. And her TikTok? It was a mix of singing snippets, trending dances, behind-the-scenes content, and messages of encouragement, building a community that adored her. By 2022, Angelica wasn't just a former talent show finalist. She was a Gen Z icon, navigating her teenage years with authenticity and grace in front of millions. So when TikTok suddenly erased that presence, it didn't feel like a simple moderation issue. It felt like erasing a piece of internet culture itself. It started without warning. One day in early December, Angelica Hale's TikTok account was simply gone. No countdown, no flag content, no strike system. Just vanished. For her followers, it was baffling. And when Angelica finally broke the silence, the explanation stunned even more. According to TikTok's internal review, her account had been flagged and removed for violating one specific rule: being underage. That's right, TikTok claimed she didn't meet the age requirement to use the app. But here's where it gets strange. At the time of the ban, Angelica was 15 years old, clearly above the platform's minimum age limit of 13. No prior incidents, no behavior that would raise red flags, just a sudden decision based on an age that didn't add up. Angelica responded publicly, revealing she had already filed 3 separate appeals, all of which were denied or ignored. She expressed confusion and frustration, explaining that she had verified her identity and age multiple times across platforms. And while her fans rallied behind her, demanding answers, TikTok offered none. The only clue? Her original username became publicly available again, suggesting her entire account was deleted, not suspended. At that point, what looked like a minor mix-up had spiraled into a case of platform overreach, possibly driven by flawed moderation systems. And Angelica was caught in the middle. On paper, the rules are simple. TikTok's terms of service clearly state that users must be at least 13 years old to operate an account. Angelica Hale was 15. That should have been the end of the story. But in reality, platform enforcement often runs on algorithms, not logic. And this case exposed the cracks in that system. Whether triggered by an automated filter, a mass reporting campaign, or an internal moderation slip, Angelica's account was treated as if she were a minor violating policy. No public evidence of rule breaking. No flagged content that would suggest misbehavior. Just a vague, unexplained underage ruling that didn't hold up under scrutiny. Fans began speculating. Was this a technical error? A false report that went viral? Or a case of mistaken identity during a routine platform sweep? The troubling part wasn't just the decision. It was the lack of recourse. Despite her age being publicly known, despite her status as a verified figure, her 3 formal appeals led nowhere. And as her digital footprint was wiped out, the situation became a cautionary tale about how even the most visible creators can be silenced by systems designed with no clear path for correction. If a celebrity like Angelica could get flagged by mistake, what does that mean for the average user? Faced with silence from TikTok and no sign of her original account being restored, Angelica Hale took matters into her own hands. In a bold yet graceful move, she launched a new account under the same username at I am Angelica Hale, and immediately began rebuilding from scratch. There were no angry rants, no dramatic callouts, just a quiet post explaining what had happened and a heartfelt message asking her fans to follow her once again. Within hours, supporters flooded in. The comment sections lit up with words like "We missed you," "Finally back," and "TikTok did you wrong." Many fans even expressed frustration toward the platform, accusing it of failing one of its most wholesome creators. But Angelica didn't dwell on the loss. Instead, she treated it as a reset, an opportunity to connect deeper with her community and showcase her resilience. In a world where most influencers spiral after losing their platform, Angelica leaned into her authenticity. Her first few videos on the new account weren't just about singing. They were about staying strong, starting over, and turning setbacks into comebacks. It wasn't just a return, it was a statement. A message that no algorithm could delete her voice, and no ban could stop her from reaching the people who believed in her. As the dust settled, questions still hung in the air. How does a platform the size of TikTok misclassify one of the most well-known teen singers in America? Theories swirled, and none were comforting. Some believed the ban was a byproduct of automated moderation tools misreading her age based on facial analysis or profile data. Others speculated it could have been the result of mass reporting, perhaps a group targeting her account maliciously, triggering a system that values speed over accuracy. A more alarming possibility pointed to flawed identity verification systems that fail younger-looking creators, even when they're well within the age limit. Regardless of the root cause, one thing became clear. TikTok's appeal process offered no transparency, no meaningful explanation, and no resolution. Critics online began highlighting how many creators, especially younger women and people of color, faced mysterious takedowns with little to no warning. Angelica's case became a symbol not just of one girl's battle against a glitchy platform, but of a broader issue plaguing digital spaces: the imbalance between human nuance and machine enforcement. When platforms lean too heavily on automation without oversight, the results aren't just technical errors. They're personal losses, career disruptions, and in some cases, public erasure. Angelica Hale's ordeal may seem like an isolated case, but in today's social media landscape, it's anything but. Her experience highlights a growing vulnerability that many digital creators face: the invisible line between platform power and creator rights. As content creation becomes a full-time job for millions of young influencers, a single misstep, or in this case, a single algorithmic misread, can wipe out years of effort, connection, and brand building. What's even more alarming is how few safeguards exist to protect against that. Angelica, with her fame, media coverage, and fan base, managed to rebuild. But what about the countless smaller voices who vanish without explanation? The incident forced fans and fellow creators alike to reconsider the platforms they rely on. Who holds the keys to your digital identity? What systems decide whether you stay or go? And when mistakes happen, who's accountable? In a world run by content moderation bots and vague appeal systems, even a child star with a global following isn't immune to being ghosted by the algorithm. Angelica's comeback was powerful, but her disappearance was a warning. No one is too big to be banned. And when the rules are this unclear, everyone's at risk. At the end of it all, here's what we know. Angelica Hale, famous singer, AGT finalist, and teen role model, had her TikTok account banned without warning. The official reason? Underage. The reality? She was 15, legally allowed to use the platform. Despite filing multiple appeals and verifying her age, the account was lost. No proper explanation, no recovery, just silence. She started over, yes, but not everyone can. And that's the heart of the issue. This wasn't just a technical error. It was a failure in process, in transparency, and in accountability. When platforms act unilaterally and leave creators without answers, it shakes the very foundation of trust that powers digital communities. Angelica's story isn't just about one person's lost account. It's a case study in what happens when human creators collide with non-human systems. So the next time you log in, post, or scroll, ask yourself, how secure is your digital identity really? Because today it was Angelica. Tomorrow it could be anyone. And in a world where fame is one tap away, so is erasure.